Yo, what's up, Bonehog? Shujinkydink here. Welcome to a video all about Mortal Kombat 11. I consider this to be kind of a review of sorts. I'm sure it's like super late, but I mean, I guess I have been playing the game for like 3 years, so I mean, by now I should probably know. I meant to do this a while ago, and then I just got distracted by other things, so I'm going to go through as many aspects of the game as I can have an opinion on here, starting with what I feel is most relevant to my channel, which is the gameplay. But I am going to go through and kind of give my thoughts on pretty much everything that this game does. So, anyways, that being said, let's get to it.
Accept your death.
Alright, so my biggest gripe with the gameplay should be no surprise to anybody, but it's the breakaway input. I have screamed and yelled and salted out about this for years. Why not just put it on the stance switch button? Why did you have to keep it as a block button? The one argument I would say in their favor of that is that it kind of forces you to be a little bit more mindful and just like better kind of inputs, you know, being cleaner with your inputs. But I just feel like it ruins the experience for anyone that's not the top level. I have never been that at this game. I'm somewhere between that and casual, so or even just the ability to map it ourselves and put it wherever we want, you know, that would be awesome. So, biggest gripe out of my way. Defense on knockdown, you have the advantage, which I think is okay, but I feel like it's weighted a little bit too much in the defender's favor. So I'm not. I guess I like it, but I don't, kind of thing. Offense is something that I actually do really like. I like the idea of crushing blows, although I do think that it could be maybe balanced a little bit better. I like the idea of fatal blows, except I don't think you should be able to use it more than once. Like, try it once, sure, and then it's gone. Poof, Vamu, whether you made a good read or not. I think that would increase the hit rate on it too. More people would be hit confirming, and it would just get better gameplay. I really like the neutral game. How this game is centered really around the neutral game, and spacing and moving in and out. I really like that. The poke meta I'm not a fan of. You know, how the poke and throws, and that's like the mix, and all the characters with the good mids or top tier. Not all of them, but just an excuse to be salty for a second. So, yeah, so I think that's all I really want to talk about. I like the interactables. They had some really cool ones in this game. And a couple that, you know, you could use a couple different ways, like in Dragon Grotto, how you can jump off the thing in the center, or you can hold down to use the little sword. I like things like that. Those are cool. Those are really cool. So gameplay-wise, as like competitive standpoint kind of thing, you know, I really like it. I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10 on just the gameplay portion itself. Now, as far as the roster goes, I think that it's actually not too bad. I like all the characters they chose. I am quite surprised that they didn't put Havoc in the game because, yeah, I mean, people have been screaming for him for years now, and he was quite prominent in the comics. So, a couple of weird choices on characters that I wasn't too sure why they put in the game. Scarlet was a surprise for me because I did not expect them to redo Scarlet. But I actually really enjoyed the redone Scarlet. You know, they finally gave her a voice. One of the best voice actresses in the game, in my opinion. Very, very sexy voice. Love it. The design is cool. I wish she was a little bit better so you'd see her more. You know, she's one of the only real true zoning characters in this game, other than I think RoboCop. But yeah, so overall, I'm happy with the roster. A little unsure about their choice of why they're bringing these specific 2 combat kids back. Takeda, I thought, was one of the coolest characters in MKX. From even having the lightsabers and the little chain things, like, I thought he was going to be back for sure. But Cassie Cage, I get it. Johnny Cage's daughter, I suppose. But yeah, and then the DLC was pretty cool. Funny that we got Melina. I think that was just another thing that, you know, the Melina stands were just a little bit too crazy. You know, Ed Boon just finally said, "Fuck it, give him Melina. Make her shit tier though. I don't want these people to think they want anything." I have a medium stance on guest characters because I personally would love more Mortal Kombat characters in the game and less guest characters. However, I do understand that it brings new players to the game. Like maybe someone who never really played Mortal Kombat, but was a huge Spawn fan, was like, Spawn's in Mortal Kombat? Okay, I'm playing that game. Then you gotta, now that, okay, well, I like this game, and then they buy the next one. So, and I get it. And the theme that you're kind of like pitting like Terminator versus RoboCop, for example, and you know, Rambo's in the mix there too. So I kind of get it, you know, but not a huge fan myself. I liked the MK characters, Rain and Fujin. That was cool. But yeah, I think that's it for gameplay and characters and stuff. So maybe I'll go into the different game modes and we'll kind of talk about those for a bit. So starting with the customization, the grind for customization, to be fair, I think I've talked on this topic before, but to be fair, like it's quite grindy to get all the gear and stuff. So that was something that, you know, if you're playing online a lot, you should be able to, you know, get all the gear through playing online. You know, shouldn't have to be forced into these other game modes. But I do get it that they're trying to kind of, I get what they were going for here. But yeah, as far as like the actual customization, I think that like a lot of the times the third spot on a lot of characters isn't used the greatest. Shang Tsung's an example here. Like you got the little vials, you barely see those things. Sometimes he doesn't even use it; just kind of sits on his hip there. So I think they probably could have done something else, or just given them 2. You know, and maybe some characters get 3. You know, that kind of thing. So I felt like that was a little unnecessary in some avenues, but in other areas, you know, it makes a lot of sense. Like Katana's fans, for example, that's a big part of her game. So of course you want to customize that. Like the Sai here. I don't really even use the Sai a lot, so I guess it's in some of her combo strings, but still, I think they could have done that a little bit better. So customization, my wants for the next game would just be able to unlock it through whatever game mode you play. If you, maybe it's a little bit slower to do it that way, and maybe it's faster if you do through all of the ones, which I think is the case in this game. But it would be nice to be able to unlock everything from just playing the things that I want to play. Augments, I didn't really mess around with a whole lot. I did one with Baraka where he got like some armor, so they're probably pretty cool if I played around enough with them, and they probably help out in the towers a lot. Which gives me an idea, because I'm stuck on a tower with Spawn. Those endurance towers? Let's go to the tower. Let's talk about the towers. That's a good transition. So the Towers of Time. I really, really enjoy. I have to be in the mood for it, but I do enjoy doing these towers. Some of them are a little grindy, like these ones are pretty big here. But they're really fun, and I think it's a good way, especially with the 6-stage kind of individual character towers. I find it really fun to kind of go in and just kind of learn the different combos with my characters, while also unlocking cool stuff for them too. So I like the way it's designed. I like the co-op towers. I've only done those a couple times, but they were pretty fun, not gonna lie. But yeah, I thought overall, Towers of Time, super well done. You know, I'd give it a 10 out of 10 as far as the placement goes. I even like how they added this race against time, add a little bit of competitiveness to it, so that people who don't want to play online can still somewhat be competitive with others. So I really like it. Hawk Cookie Eye, if you're watching this, big ups. Great job of Race Against Time. And of course we have the classic towers. Not really much to say on that. Just if you want to go through and feel like you're playing MK1 again, just test yourself with higher difficulties, you know. Just a cool another feature. I didn't really use it much outside of the whole use 13 brutalities against whatever. So I just come in here and put it on easy and just, you know, smack a bunch of people around just so I can get to that thing. So yeah, classic towers, pretty cool. Story mode, never really a huge fan of the time travel thing. I think it's a bit of a cop-out, but it was entertaining and kept my interest, I suppose, through it. And I do look forward to the Mortal Kombat lore, so I was probably a little bit more disappointed to see that they kind of went the time travel route, but did allow for some cool storylines, some cool things. A little predictable though in the story, as far as especially when Shang Tsung showed up, and it's like, okay, well, you know, he's not a good guy. But yeah, the ending was cool. I won't spoil it for anybody, but it's been 3 years. Fucking play the story mode if you're watching this. Jesus Christ. The Krypt, super cool. Love the Krypt. I like to the way it's designed, the gameplay, being able to play through it, just the little things, all that kind of stuff. Where the frick is Collector? Collector? There you are, you idiot. What do you got for me today, Collector?
Waste my time.
Nothing that I can trade. Fuck you. Fuck Collector. I hate this game. Just kidding. Yeah, the only thing with Krypt, though, is I wish it was bigger. Ooh, I've been looking for those crystals of life. Oh, looking for that. Sorry. World. I wish it was longer. I wish we got some DLC for the Krypt, because I had a whole bunch of fun playing the Krypt. I think one of the grindiest things I didn't like about the Krypt was getting all the heads on the thing. Luckily, I cheesed that when the game came out, so you can't do that anymore. Yeah, I would have loved to see some DLC for the Krypt and expanded it a little bit. Perhaps plans like that were kind of in the mix, but just didn't kind of happen. You know, COVID and all that kind of stuff. So, but overall, I had a lot of fun with the Krypt. I would give it like an 8 out of 10 kind of thing. Okay, practice mode. I'm a firm believer that I think NRS makes one of the best practice modes across multiple fighting games. I've played like Soul Calibur, I've played Strive, I've dabbled in Tekken, but not really played it. And I think just the way that it's laid out, maybe it's because I'm just used to NRS games, so obviously biased here, but like, you have everything you need. You can change the HP, especially when it comes to like crushing blows and that kind of thing. You have a button log, turn everything off, and just make a little movie if you wanted to. Easy crushing blows, like AI options, record AI, have them do all sorts of things, stance, hold. I think this is one of the best practice modes out there as far as fighting games go. But that, again, that's just me. Beat up Cetrion a little bit. I don't know, it just looked very appealing to one. You have a very punchable face, Cetrion. So yeah, not really much else to say on practice mode. I never really ran into a situation where there's something that I wanted to test it that I didn't have to do. I like the added feature of the live frame data. That's super duper helpful, because sometimes the frame data isn't always correct, or it can vary quite a bit depending on distance away or that kind of thing. So that was a welcome feature that I loved. I loved it. What else can I talk about in this game? I think there's one more thing I could do. So, again, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I didn't really use it a lot, but the AI battles, I did it at the start kind of a little bit. Apparently there's this whole different tier list for the AI. I remember at one point Noob Saibot was like the top character for AI battles, but I haven't done one in quite some time, so I don't really know. I haven't even tried out the Spar with Friends one, so just like I don't know, just a mode that wasn't really interesting to me at all. So I don't really have an opinion here, but I will pass that question to you. Did you use AI battles? Did you like them? Was there fun? Is there something about them that I'm just missing? Like I don't know why I have these three. It's been a long time since I opened this up, so yeah, I think that's really it. They had a couple tutorials I thought were good, and the fatality training, of course, and the store wasn't really too heavy as far as microtransactions, which at the start everyone was crying about microtransactions. I didn't really get it because it's like there really isn't any unless you're buying the crystals. People are like, oh yeah, well they were going to go that route, blah blah blah. I'm like, well, yeah, we don't know that, and they didn't. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but that's just me. One last thing I will say, love the online modes. Wi-Fi filter. We need a Wi-Fi filter. It's 2022. Why do we not have a Wi-Fi filter? Please, you're killing me, Smalls. Please. Other than that, netcode's great. Got all the different things. I like King of the Hill, the Forever King. One day I want my gamer tag to be associated with a Mortal Kombat game. That would be so cool, but I don't think that'll ever happen. So overall, given everything we went over today and all that kind of stuff, I think I would give MK11 a solid 7 out of 10. I think it's a pretty good game. Probably one of the best that they've done. So, that's just my opinion. What do you think? Lots of people don't like this game, especially when they prefer the high-paced gameplay of MKX. Which this gameplay is sped up a bit in the tower, so you can play it differently. But again, some people like playing online, so there's that. So let me know in the comments down below what you think, and if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, because it really helps me out, and subscribe if you haven't, because I make new videos almost every single day. Hashtag Bonehawks and all that stuff, and we'll see all you Bonehawks in the next video.
been so cruel to you.